Hi, friends. So, this is Raspberry. This is going to be my series of story time with pets. Today, we're going to talk about my worst date story. So, to be fair, I have not been on a lot of dates because nobody likes me, which is fine. But anyway, I had just joined a sorority, and as part of our dues, Jen messages me and she's like, hey, there's this guy, Nate, from a new fraternity from the new fraternity on campus, and he seems really cool. I think you guys would click. So she connects us, and I guess he messages her and is like, hey, do you think she'd be okay with like paying for her own food? And Jen was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, Josie is really nice. She doesn't care. Are you talking to the camera? And, it would be a nice gesture because she's paying for your ticket and you wouldn't be able to go without her. But yeah, she understands. It's fine. And so he messages me and says, do you mind paying for your own food? Because it's not really a date. And I don't mind, but I probably should have known from that interaction that it might not have been a great fit. It could have been like, hey, I don't have like a lot of money. Do you mind splitting? Or like something. I don't know. But yeah, not great verbiage. So he picks me up, opens the door for me, but opens it like super wide so that I have to like lean out of the car to like all the way out of the car to close the door. It's in a part of town that I grew up in. I was like, oh, you could just go on Eastbelt, like the whole way up there. And he put it in his GPS. He was like, well, I'm gonna listen to my GPS because I know it knows where it's going. That's fine. To be fair, it did get us there. It just took us through a lot of neighborhoods. And the car ride's fine. We're talking about like what's your major, blah blah blah. So we pull into like the little shopping center, and oh baby, he's like, oh, that's my favorite restaurant. I wish we were going there. It's like, well, we can go there. Like, it's not like a life or death thing. It's fine. And he's like, no, it's your night. You should have fun. We get to the restaurant and we go sit where my sisters had booked an area. So he sits across from me, and then next to him, like one of my sisters comes in. She sits next to him. Her date sits next to her. So the whole night, or the whole time at dinner, he is not talking to me. He's not talking to her. Both guys like push away from the table and are just talking to each other, which like is fine because then I got to get to know one of my sisters better. We get the bill. I pay for my own bill. I get my food, and we drive over to the event. I leave my food and my shoes like in his car. The murder mystery, the show starts. Instead of just like turning his chair around to watch the show, he's like, I can't see, so I'm going to join this table. So he takes his chair and brings it all the way next to the guy that he was talking to all night. So they were having like a love affair that me and my sisters were laughing about. So the show ends and he's in the new fraternity on campus, right? So this is our first impression of him, of like that fraternity. And so we're dancing in like a circle. He's dancing like next-ish to me, which is fine. I'm not a big like grinder because I don't like to be touched. So one of my sisters is having a great time, and she's been around for a while, so she's just like butterflying to like all the little groups having a good time. And I notice, and everyone notices, that my date is trying to dance with everybody except for me, which is like fine. Whatever. But so I'm dancing next. We're dancing with Jen and whoever she brought, and he's like, hey, after this is done, do you want to like hang out at like my place or whatever? We'll meet up. She's like, yeah, sure. So he says that right in front of me. 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. It for sure had not hit an hour. And he's like, hey, I'm not having a good time, so I'm gonna go. Do you think you can find your own ride home? I was like, okay, yeah. It's like, probably. There was like a lot of sisters here, and bye. I had spent hours getting ready, bought a new dress, and I just was I just went to the bathroom and I cried. I don't know. It just felt like, just once again, it's not pretty enough, not whatever enough for someone to be, you know, to even be nice to me. Like, he can't even spend like a night with me. Jesus, I must suck. And so I cried like a little together. I went out and had like fun on the dance floor. I spent the night running back and forth from the bathroom. I didn't talk to anyone about it because I didn't want anyone to be like sad because I was having a bad night. Like, that, it's not fair to ruin everyone else's fun. So one of the times, so I would like cry in the stall and then like, you know, try to get like my puffiness away. And one of my sisters saw that my eyes are all like puffy. And so she realized I was crying and she was like, hey, like, what happened? And I was like, you know, this was not a great night. Like, he wanted to dance with everyone but me and just left me. And she was like, well, you know, I hate to say it, but if you looked like Jen or Kate or Katie or, you know, like the gorgeous women in our sorority, he wouldn't have treated you that way. So, you know, like, don't be ugly. Of course, made my night even worse. It's just one night with one stupid guy. Find a ride home. It's November, so the parking lot is covered in ice at 4-inch heels, and you'd barefoot across the entire parking lot. He's like, so just FYI, in the future, your sorority is gonna have to apologize to my fraternity for how that happened. And shockingly, I actually stood up for myself. I don't usually, but I was like, apologize for what? Like, I invited you. I was like, I was the nice one in this situation. I invited you over. I paid for my own dinner. You couldn't have gone to this without me, and I wasn't mean to you. Like, you said you weren't having a good time. I didn't force you to stay. How is this possible? Like, I offered to go to your favorite restaurant, and you said no. And so he was like, oh, I guess you're right. He doesn't apologize, nothing. But yeah, anyway, that was my worst date story, which in hindsight, pretty funny. At least to me. Just, if you haven't learned this already, if you have friends that tell you that it's because you're not pretty enough that you get treated like, cut those people out of your life. They're not worth it. Anyway, thanks for spending time with me. Do you want to say bye to the camera? Do you want to say bye? Bye.